So can introverts actually be successful in business and in sales? And if so, how? All right, guys, so welcome back to my channel. My name is Urban Pena, but you probably know me as Irv Official. And this is a channel dedicated to business, entrepreneurship, mindset, and even relationships. And I just want to go ahead and get right into it. And before I do, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, as we're going to be dropping content like this each and every single week. And if you're already subscribed, then welcome back. So you probably saw the title, Can Introverts Actually Be Successful in Sales and Business? But I really think that that's the wrong question that people often ask. And the real question that people should be asking is, how can introverts be successful in sales and business? And the reason I say that is because so many people think that you need to be completely outspoken, you need to be extravagant, you need to be demanding, have control in the room at all times. Although those are key elements to being successful in any field, in any industry. And I think a lot of people seem to misinterpret a introvert being quiet, or an introvert maybe not being as outspoken as an extrovert, for them either A, not being go-getters, or B, just maybe not wanting it, or just not being as strong character as maybe an extrovert would be. And I think that's such a misunderstanding for that type of person. I mean, look, I'm gonna give you a quick example of some people that you might have heard that are introverts and you didn't even know it. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, J.K. Rowling, Barack Obama, Michael Jordan, Jeff Bezos, Marissa Mayer. And that's just some of the people off the top of my head that I can actually think of that are introverts. Some of them you may have probably guessed, okay, I could have guessed that one. But the other ones, maybe they threw you off. And the reason they threw you off is because you have a misconception of what you think an introvert actually is. You probably think that an introvert is a shy person that breaks eye contact all the time. Maybe they have bad social skills. You put them in a networking event and you see them in the corner. Or maybe if they're conducting some type of sales meeting, their voice is a little lower and they don't like to speak as much. Or maybe they just don't like asking direct questions. Whatever that may be, there is some truth to that. But the other side of it is that maybe, just maybe, you're labeling what an actual strength is in the wrong category for an introvert. So if you don't know what an introvert is or what an extrovert is, I'll go ahead and drop the extrovert definition right here so you can go ahead and take a look at that. And then I'll go ahead and drop the introvert definition right here so that you can go ahead and take a look at that, so that you can kind of see where exactly you fall within. So many people think introversion means you don't like being around people, but that doesn't equal antisocial. To me, it means that I like having quiet time on a regular basis. Look, being introverted doesn't mean that you're socially awkward or you're a loser. It just means that you'd rather be alone when other people would rather be with more people. And for the purpose of the video, I just want to go ahead and dive deep with introverts, extroverts. You are going to have to wait until I drop another video on being successful salespeople and business owners as an extrovert. So for the purpose of this video, we're just going to hammer down on why introverts are good salespeople and entrepreneurs. The first skill that's often overlooked by introverts, and why I believe they're so good at being entrepreneurs and managing a business and fantastic salespeople, is they are very good at having deep emotional conversations. I have been in rooms with introverts that are very successful at what they do. And by very successful at what they do, I'm talking about 6-figure plus income. By very successful at what they do, I'm talking about they have over 100 employees. By very successful at what they do, I'm talking about they have strong relationships, not just with their employees, but with their family and their close friends. And I believe that the reason for that is that skill that we mentioned earlier, which is they have deep emotional conversations with people. And the reason they have deep emotional conversations with people is because of the way that they're wired. People that are introverted usually spend a lot more time to themselves, self-reflecting. And so that carries into a conversation, because if they are that entwined with themselves and they've reached a higher knowing of themselves, that allows them to observe a room more frequently or more subconsciously than, let's say, an extrovert would. They're always wanting to know why and not so much of the how. If you ask an introvert a question, they're gonna give you this stare and they're gonna kind of wanna know why you asked them that question rather than what's the purpose of the question. And so it's not just a, let me ask you a question and an introvert spits it back out. You ask an introvert a question, you best believe they're gonna look at you, pause, and then they're gonna give you a meaningful answer behind that that's gonna provoke another thought in your mind, keeping the conversation running. A lot of us think that introverts don't like having conversations. It's not so much that introverts don't like having conversations, it's more so of they want to find out the purpose of the conversation. Skip the small talk with an introvert. Don't just, ask them, hey, how's your day going? How's the weather? Yes, let's be polite. Yes, that's pleasant. But they actually want to know, okay, what am I going to get out of this conversation? What does this person want out of me in this conversation? Can I benefit from this conversation? Can they benefit from this conversation? What are they going to leave with out of this conversation? What am I going to leave with out of this conversation? And when you understand that that's the way that an introvert is wired heading into that dialogue, then that's when you begin to see that they're not just quiet people. That's when you begin to see that they're actually people full of intent and intentions. So skill number 2 that introverts possess, and this is a really strong one, especially in sales, is they know how to take the back seat naturally. Now, what do I mean by that? Far too often, people are taught in sales that you have to command or take control of a sales call or take control of a business meeting, whatever you call it. And what ends up happening is they have this misnomer in their mind and they're taught talk more, talk more, talk more, talk more, pitch dump, pitch dump, pitch dump, keep giving them information, keep giving them information, keep giving them information. And so with an introvert, it's backwards. With an introvert, if they notice that the other person likes to talk more, then they're naturally going to kind of shelter back, whether they notice that or not. And that's just such a strong skill in sales, because if you know anything about sales, the more you let the other person that you're pitching, or the more you let the consumer speak, the more information you gather about them and their unique situation. And so an introvert naturally does that because they're already good at listening and they're already good at connecting with emotional questions. And so when they naturally take that back seat, and let's say there's a big board meeting going on, they're able to just observe the room, see who's firing off what questions, and naturally they're just able to see, okay, this person seems to want this, that person seems to want that, this person seems to want this. What can I do to strategize a solution around that problem? Which leads me into my third point, and that's this. And before I give you this answer, guys, if you haven't already subscribed or liked my content, I would so appreciate it if you do. Go ahead and hit that little bell up top so you can get notified every time I'm dropping new content just like this each and every single week. Introverted people are very good at planning. Now, why is that important in sales and why is that important in business? You're able to plan around a strategy and you're able to project numbers around the activities that you're doing. There's a saying in business and it goes something like this: if it's not recorded, it doesn't exist. If you don't have numbers in place for the activities that you're doing every day, either this many calls leads me to this many sales leads me to this much money, then there's no way of backtracking and actually finding the holes in your business as to what needs to be fixed. And so introverted people are very, very meticulous and they're very methodical with the way that they strategize their plan and the way that they actually strategize the employees and the people that they plug in with within their industry and within their organization. And you'll notice that in the way that they conduct their interviews. If you ever sit in an interview or if you're ever sitting in a board meeting with an introverted person, you'll see that they're a bit more laid back in their chair. And it almost seems as if they don't want to be there, but it's not really that. They're just very observant to the words that you're using and what you're actually saying. Because again, it goes back down to them wanting to see, how can I come out of this benefiting and what can I do to bring value to that person, rather than just running over you with a decision that may hurt you, may hurt them, and may hurt the business overall. Let's jump right into the next one. And this one may catch you off guard. And that's, introverted people are very good leaders. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're saying, well, how can someone that's quiet, how can someone that that possibly breaks eye contact a lot? How can somebody that's maybe kind of geeky, dorky, someone that takes quite a bit of time to analyze, how in the world can they be good leaders? And so I'm so glad he asked. And the reason why they're such good at leading people is because they don't seek to command a room. They actually seek to guide a room. Okay, Irv, slow down. You mean to tell me that commanding a room and guiding a room are two different things? 100%. Let me explain it to you. Since they guide so well, they do it from a place of service, and they do it from the place of building a solid relationship. And the reason that's so important with an introvert is because it goes back down to everything that they do comes from a place of meaning. And so they don't feel inferior when someone else wants to, let's say, take the lead or feel like they're taking the lead. That's their way of guiding that type of person with that specific trait. And so when they're building a culture within an organization, they study, obviously, who's in the room, who needs what, who thrives off of what, and they naturally build that culture around the room, not so much from a dictator standpoint, but more so from a team standpoint. If you've been watching up to this point, then I saved what I feel is the best attribute that an introvert has to successfully guide an organization, build a powerful business, or if they just want to be a manager at their job and just guide the people around them. And that's this. Introverts naturally don't crave external affirmations from people. And that is one of the most powerful things that any human can possess. When you don't listen to when they applaud you, and you don't listen to when they boo you, you're just focused. And I believe that the reason why so many introverts are so focused and they don't look to the left, they don't look to the right, they're very goal driven, even though it doesn't come off like it, is because they spend so much time to themselves in solitude. And when you spend so much time by yourself in solitude, it teaches you to move off of an internal compass rather than outer noise. And that's a skill. When you have a loud auditorium of people constantly in your business, but the whisper is still louder than the crowd, that is when you become someone of influence. I hope that you enjoyed this video on how to be successful as an introvert. And guys, once again, my name is Irvin Pena, but you probably know me as Irv Official. I'd so appreciate it if you guys hit that little bell up top so you can get notified every time I'm dropping new content just like this each and every single week. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below and smash that like button. All right, guys, until next time, everyone, this is Irv Official signing out.